part 2 of our single unit air pre-trip. We're now going to go underneath the unit and look at the components underneath. So I will meet you underneath. Again, look at all of our air components that are underneath the truck. So you can see here, we're very fortunate. Our tanks are identified as wet, primary, and secondary. This tank up here is actually an auxiliary tank for things like the jaws of life, that type of stuff. So we've got 3 tanks and 2 here. This tank is actually split in half. You'll see it's got 2 drain valves, 1 and 2. So it's a primary, it's a wet tank and a secondary tank, and this is our primary tank. So we're gonna follow the hoses and have a look at everything as we move. And we're gonna go back to here where we see our air dryer. And our air dryer is that guy that tries to keep our air free of moisture. And you'll notice that it's got this fancy hose here again. That is a hose from the compressor. Air comes out of the compressor very hot, and once it hits the cold, it creates moisture, just like the shower does on your mirror when you have a shower. We're gonna look at this guy and we're gonna make sure he's secure and there's no damage anywhere on him. There may be a little moisture out of here because of course he's blasting away all contamination out of your air system. Then we're gonna follow him back, all of these air lines, and as we go, we're gonna look at the air lines and all of the components on our truck. We'll come back to this point and we'll notice that we have a relay valve with a couple of small valves off of that. That's actually an anti-lock brake valve with a relay valve attached to it, so that if one wheel locks up, it does its job correctly and slows down the other wheel so you can maintain traction. So it could have to do with traction or it could have to do with anti-lock brakes. So we're just gonna look over these lines and be certain that they're secure, tied up, and there's no damage to them anywhere. Then once we get back here, we're gonna have a look at our brake chambers and make sure that they're secure. I'm looking at them right now, and I'm looking at the pushrod travel. At the moment, I have my spring brakes applied. So I'm just having a quick look to make sure that they're not way out of adjustment. And then I'm gonna jump in the truck quickly, release the brakes, and come again and see how far the pry stroke is. I'll be just a second. All right, I'm back. When my brakes were applied, I felt they were in adjustment, but I'm now going to do a pry test to make sure. So this particular chamber strokes between 1/2 and 3/4 of an inch. The lines are tied up well, and there's no contamination in that wheel. As you can see directly where my flashlight is pointing, if you look in those little holes in your dust covers, you can see how thick your brake lining is as well. This truck has very good brake lining. I will do the same with the other side. I'm gonna have a look. It's got a lot of nice brake lining. Chambers are secure. I've given it a little tap, and I'm gonna again do a pry test on it. And again, it's between 1/2 and 3/4 of an inch. I also like to tap on my spring brake chambers to be certain that the big spring inside here is not broken. If it's not rattling, they're probably all right. Now I'm going to get back out and we'll go to part 3.